When it comes to the military during the zombie apocalypse, everyone thinks the military would crush the zombies. Between artillery strikes and attack helicopters, most zombie hordes would be turned into mush in just a few days. I'm talking about putting 100 Marines in a tall building and watching them casually pick off thousands of zombies from the windows like it's a video game. Wanna know why? Zombies don't have rocket launchers. They don't have anti-aircraft missiles. The military? Hell, even most big city cops would absolutely destroy an enemy that can't shoot back. I don't care if these things are running at you full speed. The real question is everything after. Which brings us to this video's breakdown. How bases hold, when command cracks, and why human conflict, not the undead, decides who survives.
So if you think about it, one Apache helicopter can carry 1,200 rounds of 30mm ammo and 16 Hellfire missiles. Each of those 30mm rounds can punch through armored tanks. What do you think it does to rotting flesh? One helicopter could wipe out thousands of zombies without ever getting close enough for them to bite anyone. And that's just one helicopter. The US has hundreds of these things. But wait, it gets better. Ever heard of artillery? A single howitzer can hit targets 25 miles away and create kill zones that are hundreds of meters wide. Zombies don't know about spreading out or taking cover. They just bunch up together like the world's easiest targets. Military guys call this a target-rich environment. What you see as a terrifying horde, they see as fish in a barrel. Here's something else. Soldiers train for this stuff. Not zombies specifically, but staying calm when everything's going to hell. While regular people are panicking and making stupid mistakes, these guys are following their training. They know how to conserve ammo, when to fall back, and how to set up kill zones. Think about it. If you can handle enemy soldiers with guns, rockets, and actual tactics, how hard is it going to be to handle enemies that just walk straight at you?
Let's talk about where these guys live and work. Military bases aren't just buildings with some fences around them. They're designed to stop coordinated attacks from actual armies. Take Fort Knox. Multiple security barriers, razor wire everywhere, and built to withstand serious military assaults. Now imagine zombies trying to get through that. They don't have wire cutters, they don't have explosives, they can't even figure out how to open doors half the time. Remember that scenario I mentioned about Marines in a high-rise? That's not just movie stuff. That's actually smart tactics. When you're up high, you can see everything coming. Zombies have to come up the stairs one at a time, which turns every stairwell into a shooting gallery. And here's the kicker. Military bases are stocked for long-term operations. We're talking warehouses full of MREs, ammunition stockpiles that could last months, and water purification systems. While everyone else is fighting over the last count of beans at the grocery store, military units are sitting pretty with everything they need. But what about mobility? Military vehicles are built for war zones. A single tank could drive through a zombie horde like a snowplow through fresh snow. Humvees, Bradley fighting vehicles, none of these things care about zombies trying to claw at them. Can zombies stop a 70-ton Abrams tank? I don't think so.
Now here's where it gets really unfair for the zombies.
Air superiority. The military owns the skies, and zombies can't do anything about it. Drones alone would end this whole thing. Predator drones can stay in the air for hours, watching zombie movements and taking them out with precision strikes. The drone operator is sitting safely hundreds of miles away, probably drinking coffee while eliminating zombie hordes. And we haven't even talked about the A-10 Warthog yet. This thing was built to destroy enemy tanks and troops. Its main gun fires 3,900 rounds per minute of armor-piercing shells. Against zombies? That's like using a flamethrower on ants. One strafing run could eliminate hundreds of zombies and clear entire city blocks. Transport helicopters give the military something zombies will never have: the ability to move fast and strike anywhere. Military units could hit zombie concentrations, wipe them out, and be gone before more zombies even know what happened. So why do movies always show the military losing? Because watching helicopters mow down zombies for 2 hours wouldn't make for very exciting entertainment.
Alright, here's where things get interesting. While zombies would be target practice for the military, other humans, that's a completely different story. Unlike zombies, people think, they plan, they adapt, And most importantly, they want the same things the military needs: food, weapons, shelter, and safety. Picture this. You're a desperate parent with hungry kids, and you know there's a military base nearby with tons of supplies. What are you going to do? You're going to try to get in there, by force if necessary. Now, the military isn't fighting mindless zombies anymore. They're potentially fighting other Americans, including people who might know military tactics, former soldiers, or cops who understand how bases work. And here's the psychological problem. Soldiers signed up to protect civilians, not shoot them. Even in extreme situations, many soldiers would refuse orders to fire on American families. That kind of moral conflict can tear apart unit discipline faster than any zombie horde. But it gets worse. What happens when military families are in danger? You think a soldier's going to stay at his post when his wife and kids are trapped in a zombie-infested city? Military discipline is strong, but family loyalty is stronger. Units would start falling apart as people abandon their posts to save their loved ones. And honestly, can you blame them? Here's where that Reddit discussion gets really smart. They point out that the World War Z movie actually showed this better than most zombie films. The military wasn't just fighting zombies. They were dealing with complete societal collapse, refugee crises, and the breakdown of command structures.
Here's something most people don't think about. The military needs massive amounts of supplies to function. Fuel for all those vehicles and helicopters, ammunition for the weapons, food for the troops, medical supplies for injuries. In normal times, this stuff gets delivered by complex supply chains. But what happens when society collapses? Those supply trucks aren't coming anymore. The fuel depots might be overrun. The ammunition factories might be shut down. Suddenly, the military is competing with everyone else for dwindling resources. And unlike zombies, human competitors are smart about it. They'll hit supply convoys, raid fuel depots, and try to cut off military supply lines. This is where the military's advantages start to matter less. Sure, you've got the best weapons, but what good are they when you're out of ammo? Your helicopters are useless without fuel. Your high-tech equipment breaks down without spare parts. The military units that survive long-term won't be the ones with the biggest guns. They'll be the ones who figure out how to work with civilian survivors instead of fighting them. Think about it. Would you rather have 100 soldiers with limited supplies or 90 soldiers plus 10 civilians who know how to fix generators, grow food, and treat injuries? Now, here's something that legal experts have pointed out about zombie scenarios. The UN wouldn't actually be running anything. The United Nations doesn't have its own military. It's basically a diplomatic organization that borrows troops from member countries. In a real zombie apocalypse, you'd see national militaries taking charge, not some international committee. The US military has clear chains of command that work even when the government falls apart. They've got contingency plans for everything. But here's the catch. What happens when there's no more government giving orders? Who's in charge when the president, Congress, and state governments are gone? Military commanders would be making life or death decisions without clear authority. And that creates opportunities for other countries. Would China or Russia help the US during a zombie crisis? Or would they see it as a chance to grab territory and resources? The military might end up fighting zombies, hostile civilians, and foreign armies, all at the same time. Family concerns would be huge too. Every soldier has people they care about outside the military. When push comes to shove, are they going to follow orders or protect their families? Most people would choose family, and that could break apart military units faster than any external threat. So, what's the answer? The military's best bet is to use their organizational skills to build something better, not just fight everything that moves. Think about what the military is really good at: organization, logistics, engineering, and leadership. These skills are perfect for rebuilding society, not just destroying zombies. Military engineers can build fortified communities, restore power grids, and set up sustainable farms. Combat medics can treat injuries and prevent disease outbreaks. Military logistics experts can organize supply distribution and resource management. But here's the key: they need to work with civilians, not against them. The military units that welcome useful civilians, doctors, mechanics, farmers, teachers, are going to have huge advantages over units that try to go it alone.
The trick is screening people carefully while still being open to cooperation. You need the doctor's medical skills, but you can't let in someone who's going to sabotage your defenses or steal your supplies. Communication networks give the military another big advantage. While civilian groups are isolated and don't know what's happening elsewhere, military units can stay in contact with each other, share information, and coordinate large-scale operations. Imagine coordinating zombie cleanup operations across entire states, with different military units working together and sharing resources. That's the kind of organized response that could actually rebuild civilization.
Look at how the military handled Hurricane Katrina or the COVID-19 pandemic. They're really good at logistics, setting up temporary hospitals and distributing supplies. These are exactly the skills you'd need in a zombie apocalypse. But they also struggled with civilian coordination and communication. Different agencies didn't always work well together. Information got confused. Resources got wasted because of bureaucratic problems. In a zombie scenario, these problems would be magnified. You can't afford to waste time on paperwork when people are getting eaten. The military units that succeed would be the ones that can adapt quickly and cut through red tape. The National Guard would probably be more effective than regular military in many situations. They know the local area, they're used to working with civilian authorities, and they're trained for disaster response. Plus, their families live nearby, so they'd have extra motivation to protect their communities.